on TV1.
And a very good evening to you and a warm welcome to Newsline. My guest has been a guest many times before, but it's been a long time since he's been. And perhaps things have changed. Who knows? But we'll find out. None other than, of course, Mr. Wasantha Samarasinghe, who today is in his capacity as the president of the Intercompany Employees Union. Good evening to you, Mr. Wasantha, and welcome to the program.
Good evening to you, Mr. Faras. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Nice to see you again on the program, of course.
Same.
Now then, Mr. Wasantha, I read somewhere that there is a lot of opposition to the new Employment Act. Why is that? Why is there opposition?
First of all, I would like to thank Faras to invite me to discuss this new labor law reforms on the Newsline.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Because, as you mentioned, so many opposition to this labor law reform because this initiative by the minister, and also when we talk about the labor law reform, it's a wide and huge area, and all the people in the country are accepting so many changes in the reforms. We all are welcome labor law reforms, and we are accepting to participate, and we are accepting so many laws to reform. But these things happening in, I think, not the proper way. The minister banned we have a proper way to discuss this kind of matter.
Right.
So we have a establishment called NLAC, National Labour Advisory Council. It's a tripartite body, the internationally recognized body.
And so they haven't been consulted on this?
No, that's the thing. Since last nearly years, it's not common. But minister called for the meeting. He summoned the meeting, and openly he called some unions, associations, peoples, and some businessmen, and he is calling to come and give the views regarding the labor law reforms. And you also go and give your views. When we talk about the labor law reforms, there should be a proper plan. That's why we believe there should be a focus what kind of law we are going to reform. We are going to repeal, and we are going to bring as a new law. But we have so many law to repeal. In this labor law reforms, the new Employment Act, it's going to repeal 13 Labor Act.
Right.
But first of all, I would like to say for us, this minister, this cabinet, or this government doesn't have that kind of mandate even. People doesn't give a mandate to bring the new labor law, because this government doesn't have that mandate, first. Second thing, if government planning to bring new labor law, there should be a proper plan. Then they should have a call for the all stakeholder and establish proper structure to bring new labor law. Then they should have a structural plan how to bring new labor law. There is no implement that kind of plan. We urge, we demand to minister, first of all, you have to call for the NLAC meeting. Then you can call NLAC meeting, you put forward your proposal to the NLAC meeting. After that, we can set up some steering committee. After that, we will put that our proposal to that committee. Then that steering committee have finalized this area. We have to consider the reform. That is not happen. Finally, he called for the public meeting.
Yeah.
Then there was a public hearing with in the Labour Ministry.
Yes.
After 6 or 7 public hearing, he presented to the Labour Act, draft Act.
Right.
So we opposed to that because of it's not present, it not represent all the parties who willing to change.
Yeah.
This area, what kind of labor law, what kind of area we are accepting to reform. That's the all the unions and all the other opposition are opposed to these labor reforms.
That's on the one side.
Yeah.
But on the other side, in a fast-changing world where now a lot of work is being done online,
Yeah.
and so on, there are some aspects of the new world, the new digital world,
Yeah.
that you find even in the Western world, you find people who are actually children doing some work. They do coding and they may design games and whatever, but they're doing, that's not, the fact is they're children. But they have several opportunities to them, and other countries are taking advantage of that, but not detrimental to their education. So they're allowed a certain amount of hours.
Yeah.
Is that something that your party would also encourage?
This is the thing is we have to consider about, first of all, we have to consider about our workforce.
Yeah.
Secondly, the children may have some opportunity to earn some money for their expenses. There should be some opportunity without dismantle their education. The government going to mention in this act without disturbing their education, there may be a chance to earn some money, 20 hours per week, 16 to 18, between 16 to 18 years student, they can earn money doing work. But Paras, you go and search the data. Since 2019, since 2019 to 2022, we lost more than 500,000 jobs. More than 500,000 jobs.
Because
of the so many crises and the current crisis affected. EPF contributions was 2.9 million. It's reduced right now 2.4. In daily, we are losing our jobs. They don't have jobs. The factories are closed down. In garment factories, they are losing their jobs. Then we have to economically, we have to establishment. Otherwise, we don't offer the jobs to our children. There is no any opportunity to earn money. Then mean pocket money. As you mentioned, in the outside of the developed countries, there is a children and students, university students have some chance to earn money.
yes,
We are doing some work, part-time work in after the study.
yeah,
But here, so many people, they lost their jobs. So, in this labor law reforms focus with the IMF agreement, the government mentions we are going to reform we are going to repeal this some act because some investors are not coming to our country to invest because of the labor law. It is not truth. It is lie. In past 2 decades, we didn't face that kind of incidents.
right,
World famous brand established in Sri Lanka, they are doing well. because of the current economic crisis, they have left the country. We couldn't continue electricity, we couldn't continue supply their raw material because of the forex shortage. That's why they are left the country. Otherwise, they are not bargaining or they are not question our labor law. That's but the government going to raise the labor law is the issue. The investors are not coming to the country. That is not the issue. I will mention some special areas with the labor law reform in this government's proposals, government drafting.
Yeah.
The Paras, as you mentioned, you see the developed countries.
Yeah.
They are talking about the 6 hours working day right now. Especially in Europe and some countries, they are talking about the 6 hours working day. But right now we are talking about the 8 hours working day. But we don't have 8 hour working days. Most of the work days are 9 hours, including meals hour.
Okay.
Here, the government are going to abolish 8 hours working days.
Okay.
They are going to introduce 12 hours working days, continuously work 16 hours without the overtime. The 1886, we are talking about 130 years ago, people are struggling to demand in 8 hours working days. Even today we have to fight to protect 8 hours working days because this government going to abolish the 8 hours working days. That is not fair.
That's not fair. But let's listen to the unfairness after we go for this short break. And we are in conversation with Mr. Wasantha Samarasinghe. Let's take a look at this evening's headlines and then return to Wasantha Samarasinghe.
On TV1.
And welcome back to Newsline. I'm in conversation with Mr. Wasantha Samarasinghe. He's my guest. And he's the president of the Intercompany Employees Union. An opportune moment for us to talk about the proposed amendments to the Employment Act and so on. Labour laws.
Yeah. Faraz, I pointed out some special areas government going to introduce with the new labour law, new labour act. They are already drafted right now.
Yeah.
I will mention about the 2-3 points. I talk about 8 hours working days. They are going to abolish the 8 hour working days, as well as right now we have a compensation act for us.
Okay.
If some companies or factories, if the workers have a right to get some compensation when he leave the factory. If he don't want to continue the work, he have a right to get compensation.
Right.
But this act going to abolish that compensation act also.
Oh, so there's no compensation?
Of course, the employer can terminate without compensation. That's why I mentioned about the earlier 13 act going to repeal with this new employment act. And especially in women's, our laws protecting the employer can't work the women's in the night shift. If some special productions or special service areas, they should get permission from the Commission of Labour. But right now, the new Employment Act, that is the restriction have been released. The employer can work. They can they can work on the night shift also.
Yeah.
Then not only that, maximum days of work in night shift only 10 for the women. Right now, the new act, the 10 days going to extend it until 15 days. That is also the area.
So you are opposed to the women working nights, for example?
Of course, because if the women are working in night,
Yeah.
they have a restroom, they have a women's supervisor and nurses, all the facilities, and not only that, when they have a transport system,
Yeah.
but without these things, without these protections,
Then you're opposed.
without this protection, they can't work on workplace women's.
Yeah. Okay.
In the system, not developed.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. That's why the work of the not only the Sri Lanka, entire world, there is some restriction and laws implement on the women's night shift work.
Right.
But this Employment Act abolishes all the protection on women's and children's. Not only that, when when you are joined with the jobs, think about when you join with the new jobs,
Yeah.
you have a labor contract with the employer.
Indeed.
Yeah. Then something you may accepted, something you are not accepted. Then you have some discussion with them. No.
Correct.
With your capacity, you can have a bargain capacity. You may have a bargain capacity. If you don't have a bargain capacity, what will happen? You should have signed the letter. Whatever they include in the employment contract, you will sign the letter. After that, you will read it. Whatever the things inside, you already signed.
Okay.
You can't reject. If you have a capacity, you can say, no, I can't sign with these conditions. But in this Employment Act, employer can include whatever they want with the employment contract.
I see.
That means anytime employer can dismiss and terminate the workers in workplace, any reason.
Why did this government try and bring, knowing all these things, which will at the end of the day be dismissed as some sort of gimmick by the people?
These ministers and government are with the, I think they are disagree with the people. They are going to give the punishment to people. That's why. They are not, they don't have a mandate. That's why I tell you. People are trash out this government and MPs last time. That's why they are going to revenge. They are going to revenge on the people and workers.
You mean the government is taking revenge on the people? And the workers?
Of course. That's why they are going to, because the parliament have 122 parliament. They have 122 members in the parliament. Any act, any bill they can pass in the parliament. After that, it will become a law. If this act pass in the parliament, this will become a law. This parliament, this government, this cabinet doesn't have a mandate. After this Employment Act pass in the parliament, this will become a law. It will revenge by this government. That's why they are going to bring this act to revenge the people. Because the people are thrashed out last year. They are not accepting, they are not recognized this government as their government.
Right.
As you mentioned, they know these things are not good with the people. They are not. They know the people are not recognized these things. They are not accepting these things.
But are you also worried? This is only one aspect. But are you worried, for example, that the EPF shareholders are going to have a constitutionally or legal 9%? But in today's terms, that is unacceptable because the inflation is running higher than 9%.
The thing is, for us, the DDO, domestic debt optimization, the new word was introduced by the central bank, optimization. Previously it was restructuring, whatever the introduction. Its effect to the EPF and ETF. Domestic debt restructuring program directly affected to the EPF and ETF, superannuation funds. The issue is for us, as you mentioned, the government has borrowed in domestically not only the EPF and ETF. All the domestic debts, more than 16 trillion. Compare with total amount, 26% only superannuation funds.
Okay.
26%. Rest of 74 other private sectors and central bank.
Okay.
So, then the DDO introduction, now the DDO bonds
Yeah.
going to introduce only for the EPF and ETF. This is
Okay.
the FR, fundamental right violation.
And have you got leave to proceed from the Supreme
No,
Court?
I don't know why.
But have they made a decision yet or
Not yet. It already rejected because legal division, AG's department present to the court and they said this is this duty is belong to the parliament. The court can't get any decision. Then I don't know whether the court have something to do. But 26% only EPF and ETF are the rest of 74% borrowed by the other private sectors. They are giving 27, 29, 30, 32% of the bonds. But EPF and ETF lose their investment interest entire 15 years, next 15 years. Next 15 years, almost more than 6 trillion rupees. Next 16 years, EPF and ETF are losing invested their interest. That is not fair. The government can't unequal treatment.
Yes, they can't give unequal
Yeah,
treatment.
of course, this is the unequal treatments. This is the unequal treatment because the government have to equal treatment.
Yes.
They are not borrowing only EPF, ETF. All 74% of other borrowers are not affected DDR. The new bonds, DDR bonds, only affected for the EPF, ETF. That is the unfair, it's unreasonable, it's only for the employee who are superannuation funds, who are expecting their rest of the life, who are after pension, their rest of the life, that is the amount who expending, that is also robbed by the government. That is the thing happening with the DDR for us.
Very sad state of affairs.
Of course, it's very sad. Previously, it was loss of because of the share market.
Yeah.
After that, bond scam. In these days, Mr. Vikramasinghe in Singapore, I think Mr. Vikramasinghe maybe met previous friend in there. Right now, they are going to loot in people's money.
Oh, you mean his friend?
Of course,
Yes.
his friends
His
in
friend.
Singapore is still.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Vikramasinghe sent him to the wedding. Arjuna Mahindran.
Yeah. But he didn't come back.
He
Well,
didn't come
came
back.
and he then went again.
He didn't came back again after the wedding.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Mr. Vikramasinghe went to search him because he is a president right now. No.
Can you ask your colleagues in Parliament to raise this question and ask the President to confirm that whether he has or he has not met Arjuna Mahindran, the man known as Arjuna Mahindran to all of us, but supposedly changed his name at some point.
Of course.
But, we don't know.
Of course.
But it would be helpful.
Of course. I will convey to message to our leader to ask him the question in the Parliament whether he is in there or not in the Singapore, because Mr. Vikramasinghe sent him to the wedding with the permission. With the permission of as a Prime Minister and of the Finance Minister, his permit to him to go to the wedding until investigation continuing here on bond scam. We will check whether Mr. Vikramasinghe reply or not.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Faraz,
Samarasinghe, for being on the program. But come back and tell us how the labor rules are going.
Of course. Thank you very much for having the chance to discuss about the labor law reforms, and we will have a discuss with the development. We will discuss with the development of the labor law reforms in future.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that's the way it was on Newsline today. Take care. Have a great evening as much as you can. And God bless you all.